Welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to do an update on the San Francisco cable car from OcCre that I'm building. So you can see here, the side is done. The last video, or the last stream I did some work on the roof, painted it, didn't get it all completely painted, had to do some touch-ups on it. Still got to probably do some fill up in here. But on the HTM live stream, and actually off screen as well, I've done a couple of updates to it. One of the things I did in the live stream, come on, it almost focused in there. You can see, there you go. You can see that I've got the poles in there now. They're in the kit instructions. The poles on either side are supposed to be white. I'm leaving them brass. I think they look good that way. And you can see these two slats there with wires running off of them. Those are lights that I've run. Let me turn it upside down so you can see that what I did to hide the wires a little bit, they're up into the roof, plus, and then they run down through the, basically it's a conduit here, come down through the floor, which there you go, you can see right here, goes down through the floor, and then I'm running the red over here and the black over here. 4 wires came down through the conduit. 2 wires are down here in the base. I went immediately to 2 wires, and I'm thinking when I look at it, it might need a light up here in the front and a light, well, a light, they're both front depending on which way it goes. Might need a second or a third light on either side. So how I did this is I took my, sorry, Goofy, took this battery operated Dremel, and what I do is hopefully this isn't too loud and you can still hear me, but I carve a divot in the center of the slat. What I'm trying to do is give the LED a place to sit and not be protruding down below that slat. At the same time, I do not go through all the way through on purpose, because what I do then is, and it's roughly center. This is roughed out. I'll bring it, matter of fact, let's do that right now. I want to be able to put the LED basically in the center of the slat. Doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to fit the LED. And then right behind the spot where the LED is going to be, it's going to be right about here. If you look, that's just about center. It's going to be right about there. And then what I'll do is I'll take the pin vise. Ow. Actually just poked my finger with it. I'll take the pin vise, make sure the hole is big enough, and I'll file it off on the top as well. Make sure the hole is big enough for the wire to actually go through. And I'll kind of take the LED is that way. This is the bulb itself. The other side is the back. This is actually a resin covered LED, but I'll take it and I'll put the wires through the hole, just like this. Bring it down, like that spot right there. Get that out of there. There's just a little bit It's basically a piece of sawdust that's holding on. There we go. So I'll put the LED roughly in the center, facing as close to straight up. That's better. It was facing a little bit off. But I'll put it a little basically in the center like that, facing mostly face up. Let's go ahead and do it right now. Make sure that that's clean. Get the zip kicker open. Instaset, whatever you want to call it. Goes by many, many names. Just the stuff that I use to cure the super glue right away. I have tested this LED earlier. I will test it again once this is in there. But I'll throw some super glue over this. And I know Donnie and I know several people that would do, instead of super glue, they would do UV resin. But then I like the super glue. It's what I've been using forever. I'll throw some accelerator over it. Go ahead and put the top on here. But I'll throw the accelerant, super glue accelerator on there. And then the light is sitting down inside there. I'm turning down the, but it's sitting down inside there. It's glued in there. It will not come out. And I can move the wire to where I need it. Double check and make sure. Boy, will this be surprising if it's the LED is not working. The bad part is what I end up doing is putting it all completely in place and then burning the lights in. But then you've got the LED in place there. And it will light up the inside of the cable car pretty well. It's not, doesn't have to be bright. There's these cars don't have a whole lot of light in them. They're mostly run during the day. And then on top of that, once this is installed, I have these, wow, that one had a little bit of a scrap left over. I have these lenses that they actually had a backing on them. They were a little bit taller. Took that Dremel, drilled a hole, and that way it looks more like a light, just that rather than just an LED sitting there in place. I think that looks really cool, looks realistic, gives life to the model. Have not yet put those on any of them, but once I glue this in and I'll glue it in, I'll have the wire sticking out the top. I'll put the resistor on. Hindsight being 20/20, these ones in the back, or these ones on this side, I'm going to run the wire, have the resistors underneath the cable car. But I glue the wires to the ceiling like that. And then, well, before I do that, anywhere where it's got a cross here, rather than going down where it's visible, I keep it up as high as possible, keep it out of the windows as much as possible. This one, you can see a little bit right there. I will push it over, see what I can do later on. I don't think there's much I can do with this one. And that right there, hindsight being 20/20, is why I'm going to not, it's why I'm going to put the resistors underneath. You got to resistor each LED. Well, you don't have to resistor each LED. You can resistor a bunch of LEDs together, but I prefer to resistor them one LED per resistor. But when I'm running the wires across here, I want that smooth. I don't want it interfering at all with the planks that are going to go up here. So what I did was I took first, I don't see it. There it is. Took my triangle file, started a gap there. Took my square file, flattened it out, got it to where it was flat enough to where the LED or the light. Slow down, back up. got it to where the wires will lay down flush into the gap I create there, and then I glue it in the gap and then run it across the side of that beam. Works out pretty well. And then haven't done it yet, but the next step on these ones here, and again, hindsight being 2020, should have done that first, is going to be to put some glue in there and then get that set in there like that. And here is the exact reason why hindsight's 2020. I don't know if I can get that on camera, but this one here, I need to auger out just a little bit more because it's not deep enough for how high that LED is sitting. I'll have to do that on this one as well. Let's show you the effect. And right now I've got it set for 3 volts. Those are already resistors, so I can put I need to put 9 volts into them. When I hook the light on, hook the wire up, it does actually light up, even at the 3 volts versus the 9 volts resistor. I'll show you right there. Go ahead and kill these lights. And so as I turn it up, you can see, there we go, 9 volts. And they're actually resisted for 9 to 14 volts. But you can see how it's adding light to it. When I left it on last night to burn in the LEDs, I looked at it and I was thinking that it was not quite bright enough up here. I'll have to wait and see. Once I have all 4 of them in there, it's nice and bright inside. It's bright right here. The options are to either leave this, or the options were to have a light here or a light here. Much easier to put it here. I think I need to put one up in here, which then what I'm going to do is just run the wire straight down into the conduit there that I've got on both ends and down through the bottom of the car. Also with the bars inside there, you can see with the lights a little bit better. With the grab bars that are inside there, it shows you to put them in before you put these cross beams in. I put them in after. That was a mistake. But what I also did, let's turn these lights back on. What I also did differently, like I said, I didn't paint it because I didn't want to have the possibility of scraping the paint off. It told you to put these in from the top and find these little holes, which that's something else. I had to move several of my passengers because they were blocking the holes. But you take them and find these little holes in the bottom. To me, it made more sense to go from the bottom up through there and then hit the beams with the brass rod. Something else I realized after the fact, as you can see, the brass rod here, let me be better this way. You can see the brass rod hits where those cross members were that I had to cut out. I had to cut those out and then put these new ones in here. Hindsight being 2020, had I not realized that that was where they were going to hit, I would have drilled holes so the brass could actually sit up inside there rather than just hitting on the surface and being glued to it. Just a few thoughts, a few things that I've realized I could have done different. By no means is it bad the way it is. And the way when you would drill these holes out is before you put, when you are putting the, I call it skylight. When you're putting this part up on here, before you did that, you would figure out where it's going to cross here on there, and then you would just drill the hole right there. Be a little bit interesting to get to it. It was really kind of funky trying to get it set in there. But once the brass rod was done, I still had about a 1/2 inch down here, so I was able to turn them because they are bent. They took a little bit of effort to bend, and some of them are not perfectly aligned. This one here is not straight sticking out, unfortunately. Not much I could do, but what I did do is I turned the brass rod from the base of it. But that's all for right now on the San Francisco Tram. It is coming along. Not going to work on it tonight on tonight's stream, which should be, by the time I post this video, will be last night's. It'll be Friday night's stream. Instead, I'll probably work on it Sunday, depending on what happens. But it is coming along, and then we will live stream again on Tuesday. Tuesday, I'll probably work on the slat roof. Let's see, what do we got next? Yeah, we got the slat roof, which I've got to varnish these. Actually, no, I don't have to varnish them. I got to varnish the inside that's going to be down, and then I'm going to paint the roof once it's in place. We've got some metal pieces here that are going to go on the corners here. Quite a bit about to happen on the cable car. But that's it for right now. Hope you're enjoying this build. This is a semi-complicated, not bad at all. Good build. I tend to add lights to things, and when you add lights to your models, you make them a little bit more complicated, especially trying to hide the wires. Like I said, hope you're enjoying this build. If you are, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of when I post new content. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the Tram or any of my builds. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow, and we will see you in the next video or stream.
Model mania, hard work models, plastic modeling, wooden models. Workman's model mania, hard work models, plastic modeling, wooden